Now, this is one where I'm not sure if I were in the room with the GM and he said, Shield, do you think we should do this? I'm not sure. I would say, yes, do this. But as somebody who writes and podcasts about football, I really want this to happen. Let's get Derrick Henry to the Ravens. 1 year.
Yeah.
I've got $7 million with incentives. I don't know. What is the market for a 30-year-old running back when that 30-year-old running back shows no signs of really slowing down and is like a once in a generation type guy who can carry the load? So, all right. So here's my reasoning for Derrick Henry to the Ravens. Number one, they have to add a running back. Basically, they've got nobody on the roster here. Last year they were first in rushing DVOA, Solak, and that was with Gus Edwards as their lead back. I've always liked Gus Edwards. He's been productive for them, but let's be honest, Gus Edwards is not driving the bus.
Gus Bus slander. You can't say Gus isn't driving the bus, and the guy's nickname is Gus Bus.
That's true. I was like, bus, train. What is the?
Why am I word associating right now?
Looking for here. Yeah, I was very confused. That did not go as smoothly as I anticipated. They've got Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell, and Owen Wright as their running backs under contract. Jeff Zrebiec of The Athletic reported Ravens were in, quote, advanced talks with the Titans during the 2023 trade deadline. So obviously this was a player they have looked into in the past. Derrick Henry last year led the NFL in rushing attempts. Of course he did. 8th in yards after contact per rush last season. Ran for over 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns. I mean, I'm picturing a scenario, Solak, where we have one of these, Lamar Jackson runs around. It's one of those where they put the clock on the replay and the right, so we can see how any guns one downfield to Zay Flowers for 43 yards, and then they go hurry up, and it's all right. You're tired now. Here's Derrick Henry. Go ahead, tackle him. We're at the 8-yard line. He's going to run in for a touchdown. So I think that would be certainly a lot of fun. Now, from a scheme fit, I'm curious what you think about this. Derrick Henry has long been an under center zone type runner. Ravens did a little more of that last year, but still primarily that's not certainly what they major in. I look at it and say, well, if they were looking to trade for him in the middle of last season, they obviously feel like they can carve out a role, they can figure it out. And Henry doesn't have to carry the ball 280 times. What does he look like at this stage of his career if he's more of a complimentary type guy who's getting a breather? And I know he's talked about it before. Other backs, they like to get in a rhythm. But at this stage in his career, if you can keep him fresh, you get him in the stretch run, you get him in the playoffs. That's one I would like to see. The number $7 million, I really don't know. It's unprecedented really for a 30-year-old running back to make that kind of money in this market. At the same time,
don't worry about
it's Derrick Henry. So I don't know. All right, what do you think? Derrick Henry on the Ravens.
No, it's good. It makes sense. And you said Henry's been primarily a zone runner. It translates, because what you want to do for Henry is you want to put him on one track and let him go, right? You want to ask him to be bouncing gaps less and less, and just kind of letting him build up ahead of steam and run. And that's ideally power. That's ideally behind a puller. And then you can also run your inside zone stuff and just have him go off a double team, make one cut and go. They'll run duo with him as well. The Rams run a little bit of duo. I don't think it's a huge part of their game. I think that they can cut that out. Not cut that out, but that doesn't need to be the feature. He can follow a puller to the C gap. He's still got the wheels for that. The thing that Lamar does when Lamar's present in the backfield, when he puts the ball in the belly of the back and freezes you there with that mesh point, is that he makes your linebackers sit on their heels, right? It makes you, unless you are calling plays specifically to get an extra body in the box and to muddy the picture, your backers kind of just have to land there and read it out. And so if Lamar freezes backers and makes them inert, and Derrick Henry is a full head of steam, a steam engine train coming at you, that's a very perfect pairing. That's a very ideal world for Henry to be in. We're linebackers don't get to generate any momentum when they come into contact with me. They're kind of stuck at the second level. That's just Mean Joe Green. That's nasty stuff. The main thing is, right, you have to maintain his touches, and you have to be cognizant of the fact that while it's true that Lamar benefits you in terms of freezing those backers and helping Henry win between the tackles, Lamar also benefits your speed backs, right? Because he can create softer edges. He makes it easier to get to the boundary. And so you want to give some touches to Henry. You also want to give some touches to Keaton Mitchell / whoever else you bring in that becomes your speed guy. So you have to try to figure out what the new balance is going to be. But they did that with Gus Edwards and Justice Hill this past year. And so I think they know how to kind of manage that chemistry as best they can. And so, yeah, Derrick Henry to the Ravens is just pure fun, and everybody should be rooting for it, unless you are in the Ravens division, in which case, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I want him on a fun team as he, the last stages of his career here. I want him playing in relevant games. All right.